Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with a former world champion Zerg in the blue, the Executioner. It's Rogue, facing off against a longtime rival in the red. We have Micro Jackson, ByuN, in a best of 3 Terran versus Zerg showdown between two of the most storied players in the 15 years of StarCraft 2 history. It feels like not yesterday, but not too far away, that ByuN defeated Dark to claim his world championship in 2016, 9 years ago. And before that can sink in too much, it'd be awesome if you could smash that like button and maybe even subscribe. Help me count the outcome. Jimmy, no, moving on. 1,624 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one, and I'll probably do it anyways because clearly I don't know what else I'll do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better than the very first Zergling sniped off by ByuN's Reaper, the unit he got nerfed twice and has been consistently working on thrice. And now, oh, well, it's good to see. It is actually ByuN here. If there are not multiple barracks across the map or multiple command centers in the production tab in the first few minutes, somebody needs to check on ByuN. But very consistently, that greedy 3cc play. And Rogue managed to sneak out a drone. He's got his third base already locked down. So, not going to be delayed there. But, of course, it's up to the Terran to make the Zerg's life difficult for as long as possible. Until it's just too difficult to deal with the Terran entirely. We got the Destiny Cloud Fist build, as some sort of fever dream reminded me it was called. A Barracks Factory Starport. You have the bamboo shoot of Terran tech that gets you anything you want. Well, you might be like, I want battle cruisers, and you can have battle cruisers. And if Gumiho was here, he could bring us battle cruisers. But no one else wants battle cruisers because they're boring and sad. But Terran. So, a Viking is on the way. And very likely behind it, a medevac or usually a Liberator, though it might... tentacles. Moving on. The Overlord hides on the pervert pillar. But the Viking is about to come out, so even though that Overlord is having some fun airing out its tentacles, not again. It's going to have a bad time as popped like an overripe tomato over the top into the... Yeah, that fan doesn't look like well-maintained anyways. So, Viking, almost a giveaway that it's going to be something like Liberator, but Liberator can still find plenty of damage nonetheless. Viking patrolling for some more Overlords, but the Queen should be able to discourage it from any further activities, though a little late on the draw. Nope. Behind it, 2 more racks, 2 evolution chambers for Rogue, as we're building up into a full-on macro game. Though 20 more lings on the way. Rogue hedging his bets. There's always the chance of, like... I know, you know my feelings on this, but a Hellbat timing is plausible. There's always about a 17% chance of a Hellbat timing. Okay? No matter what. That doesn't matter. Proxy, Rex... That seems to be about the number. For Terran players in attempting one of the least successful builds at this level on a regular basis. But the Viking, trying to clear out any Overlords on the path that the Liberator could take. It seems like Rogue has anticipated the Liberator itself based on the places he's already put some Spore Crawlers out there. If he didn't see it outright, it was... I mean, these two have played enough over the years. Alright, the Liberator, he's gonna... Well, that targets the drones instead of the Queen. Get off my creep! I mean, he just kind of screwed it up, right? That still counts! Okay. Sorry, I blacked out for a moment. Zerglings trying to dart in to the third base, but the Hellions back at home to defend ByuN. Putting it close to the chest now after the great Liberator kerfuffle, such as it was called back at home. He just kind of didn't put it in the right spot. Okay. Maybe needed his reading glasses on. But Rogue ripping apart the rocks, sharpening the claws of those Zerglings. Don't ask how that works. Meanwhile, he may actually have to take out the Zerg rocks himself because he spread so much creep, they stop bleeding out. They don't heal up. You can't transfuse the rocks. I feel like you should be able to. That's how we make a Zerg map that doesn't seem to favor siege tanks and tiny little nooks and crannies. But the Hellions lighting up the 4th base at the 9 o'clock. Meanwhile, the Marines are coming forward. Queen's holding the line. The one with the most energy in the front, but it doesn't matter. More than enough to shut down the drops. And an infestation pit as well as a Hydralisk den on the way as Rogue is speeding up towards Hive. Tries to save. He successfully saves it. Knocks out the Viking. Has to take down the rocks, which he saved with the creep tumors. Rogue giveth and Rogue taketh away. +1 ranged attack, as well as +2 carapace in production. Hydras now also joining it. It's gonna be Hydras, Lings, and I was gonna say Banes out of reflex, but there is no Baneling nest. Very notably. So it's going to be Hydras, and then Lurkers, and also some Lings thrown in, but no Banelings. Hey, how you doing? Changeling. Yes, there's some Zerglings over here. The Changeling. Hey. I don't know! That was pretty hardcore. Okay. Well. I don't think that'll be the last Changeling we see this game. But maybe it'll be the last one ByuN sees. That was meant to sound profound. Please like and subscribe and don't think about it any further. Hellbats. No matter what. They heard the call, they saw the sign, and they waddled in 6 minutes later. Typical Hellbat push. No, just joining up, kept the Hellions alive. Going to crush the drop over to the right flank, but that opens up a lot of space over to the left. Very clearly ByuN angling for that base. And Rogue, absolutely nothing to defend it. He'll take it, it's free. Hatchery down, and the 4th base will now be the 6 o'clock position. And this is why I usually hesitate to call things a 5th base until the Terran is fully pushed back to their side of the map. Because very simply, until you get to Hive Tech, you can't hold on to these locations. Until you have Vipers or Lurkers or just an overwhelming arming advantage. None of the things that Rogue has right now. You can't really hold on to a concerted push. Not without losing an unsustainable amount of units. But if anyone's all about sustain, it's Rogue. He's got those Lurkers on the way. Lurker range. Still a set of Zerg rocks there. Zerglings sprinting up. No adrenal glands. Siege tanks on their own, which means they're doing more damage to one another than they are to the Zerglings. 2 taken down. A 3rd one ripped apart. And ByuN still doing damage down the center. +2 carapace is done, but the Zerglings chewing through a few siege tanks. Very helpful. But now the Queens are gathering together. The Lurkers looking for an opportunity, but still don't outrange the siege tanks. A single Viper is on the way. Lurker range is done. It's going to make things more complicated for ByuN, but I don't think he's going to be running anytime soon. The Lurkers just barely in position. And the tank will be sliced up. All right, he holds for now. And those siege tanks dying back at home to the Zerglings severely hamstrings any sort of follow-up push. ByuN down to 4 tanks. Zerglings might find another. Adrenal glands now on the way. Not looking to make a shitty mistake. 3-3 now in production for ByuN. Ghost production has started. And Rogue looks like he'll hold on to the gold base down the center, but again, the 9 o'clock is going to be under fire. And I mean that literally. Baneling nest in production. Lurkers moving down. Rogue is settling in so fast to this game. ByuN is doing the same. He doesn't quite have the iron bank of command centers yet, but he's adding more. There's already spore crawlers at the front. Gonna have a little sporist, little sporchard out in front. Making sure that no Liberators over the top, but he does need to work his way through the center. And guess what? 2 can play at this game. That's usually how we have these tournaments. But the Lurkers are ripping through the mineral line. Yep, those are Lurkers. The scan, the siege tanks will move up. A spore crawler moves forward. ByuN, most of his army is caught on the other side of the map, but the siege tanks, he could drag some of the tanks into the Lurkers. Gets 1. Come back for more. Yes, takes a second. But ByuN Actually cutting underneath this. Not exactly sure if you can dive through the Valley of Death like that. If anyone would try to out-micro lurkers on both sides, well, it's Micro Jackson over here, but that seems like a tall endeavor. Ghosts and tanks, Zerglings sending themselves to a inevitable demise, but taking even a single ghost might be worth it for a dozen lings at this point. Lurkers moving forward to zone out the Hellbats, which have somehow managed to survive through all this. Both players maxed out, starting to bank money. Rogue a bit more. Got a chiropractor's office of spine crawlers here. ByuN trying to work through the side, but the spines from the lurkers are much more dangerous. Unfortunately, just kind of goes around, but more lurkers scurrying up. And Susan, there was supposed to be creep here. Brenda, this was your responsibility. I delegated. I don't... You can't just say delegated and not make it up. That's called foisting. Sorry, I blacked out for main base. Queens trying to hold. Not doing a great job of it. Marines gunning them down, but eventually the medevac will be out of energy. 2 queens dead thus far. Lurkers still down the center. Go snipe out one of the overseers. Down goes a medevac and everything inside, but yanks out the Liberators, which makes them mildly uncomfortable as they fly back away. 3-3 now completed for ByuN on the ground. And high-sec auto-track. He's got the battery pack Evo. Yes, finally! The battery pack Evo chambers for the Vipers. Every single time I see someone suck all the HP out of their hatchery, leaving it at like 40% for a single drop to snipe off, I get mildly to moderately upset. And that's just like my natural state. So you add that to even more mild upsetness, and what you have is a recipe for blood pressure medication. But right now, I'm calm and collected, just like Rogue's production tab. 17 Overlords on the way. 2 Nydus networks. And 0 fucks. He is going to the supreme late game that only Rogue has really been able to master. I'm not even sure if this sort of style is good, but it's certainly unique. The roguelike style is second, like no one else does. Cyril? Dark? No. The oversight committee is coming together. There are 20 overseers on the map. Above the map. Don't be pedantic. Dozens of changelings. And changelings, they're not... The thing is, they're just such an annoyance. You can't kill all of them. If even one gets through, that's vision for the Nydus. That's the point of them. It's not necessarily to, like, wall things in. It's... all it takes is one. Terrans might have scans, but the changelings, you can just right-click on them. Did you know you can right-click on changelings to kill them? You don't have to A-click. I didn't know that for like 8 years. And a lot of my Marines and Zealots and Zerglings died trying to kill changelings. Alright, but a right-click solves the problem. There is no way to automatically do it, but siege tanks certainly help. A fusion core is on the way. And honestly, I don't think battlecruisers would be the worst counter to this sort of strategy. As, well, the thing about overseers is they don't cost supply. Because they are the supply. They are the problem. You are only limited by the total resources on the map in terms of overseer production. He's got 34. It's a huge investment. Okay, this is... I don't know if it counts towards your total army value. Are they part of the army? Yes, but also no. A changeling taking the watchtower. Ghost incredible against Hydras. Oh my. Gun down. Meanwhile, though, Rogue is diving in. This base not established with a planetary. So this, it feels like Rogue has set this up already exactly how he wants it. He's got the mass changelings. He got most of his bases almost uncontested. He kept ByuN from really expanding to even his corner bases, or at least he's mostly done so. ByuN, on the other hand, has barely lost He hasn't really lost that much. I guess, wow, there's actually been a lot of losses so far. But the general trajectory of the game continues. Huge economies, a ridiculous amount of command centers. He's got 7 orbitals, 4 more stock command centers he's waiting to decide on. Liberators. At this point, there's too many workers for both sides. Double Nydus in the main. Here we go again. The Changeling standing by the boys are pulled, and ByuN is maxed out, so he has almost nothing coming out of his production. He has to scramble back to the main to defend, but that's just gonna open up the front line as well. The Nydus is... wow. Wow. There are lurkers in there. Dozens of them. But he just... this is entirely for positioning. Now, I feel like maybe he should have just taken the lurkers out and attacked the base, but still... the bait and switch. Well, the planetary will eventually die. It was just Zerglings and a few Hydras, so it didn't die very quickly. I don't think ByuN will be replacing those SCVs anytime soon. A wave of Changelings is coming in during all the chaos, trying to take advantage of more lax border security. Nydus just chilling in the main. I feel like the tanks are somehow walled in. Are they? He's just gonna siege up a tank in his main base. Enemies within and enemies without. Nine orbital commands. But the thing about Changelings is... all it takes... wow. He's really nailing it. If you no longer build... he only has 1 Marauder and 1 Marine, so that really narrows down the chances for Changelings here. If you see a Marine, it's not. That is where we are now. The Nydus is on top of everything. Liberator siege up SCP. He kills the Changeling. But there's a few dozen more. The Nydus is gonna pop anyways. A Venn diagram of freedom. The legions of Changelings being sent out. 46 Overseers. This... well, that did not go well. 14 Ghosts, 15 Tanks, 12 Liberators, and 4 Medevacs. 61 SCVs. Marines and Marauders have been entirely stripped out of the composition. The Changelings continue to stream forth. The map is claimed by Rogue. He got the double Spire as well. If the Liberator count gets too high, we're gonna need to see Corruptors. And maybe eventually Broodlords if he... the Nydus from inside the house. He actually is not killing them fast enough. The tanks are walled in by Nydus worms. The sheer amount of... they're... ByuN has 400 APM, and I wouldn't be surprised if over half that is just clicking on Changelings. Well, get your popcorn, get your pizza rolls, settle in. Because I don't think Rogue can just kill him, but he can starve him out and choke him to death. And it's gonna take a while. If everything goes right, this game will take a long time. If it goes wrong, I think ByuN just wins. This is the I love the safety in numbers strategy here. Rogue not even trying to hide the Changelings, obviously. Just sending out so many, it's almost impossible to deal with them. He is a... wow. The riskiest business. Yanking and Ghost, he succeeds. The Overseer's got EMP. Which... means the deluge of Changelings will end for now. Hellbats, Blue Flame Hellchads here. He has +3 mech weapons, and he's working on +2 armor. The Lurkers, still alive, by the way. Pop into a Nydus. Nydus worm number 13, we're seeing. a full map scan. He just unleashes it. Maybe if he scans enough, he'll get radiation poisoning. Sir Richard and his band of swarm host brethren are called in. Kind of crazy to see this before Broodlords. But Rogue is adding swarm hosts. And I mean, it seems to make sense in the grand scheme of things, but wow. This is, Changelings dying by the dozen. There's still several changelings out there. And it's almost impossible to tell if they're in relevant location. I do love how the counter is just no longer have Marines. So you don't have to question it anymore. Lunges around. I don't know what the point of setting all the Overseers and on top of everything is. I think that's just, they're on the same hotkey. So where are the swarm hosts? Rogue is gonna lose that top left corner. The swarm hosts. The first wave is so important. And he'll unleash it onto the field. The Locust will fall. And how many tanks will they bring with them? 1, 2, 3, maybe the planetary? If it didn't have the armor upgrade, I think it's dead there too. The damage of Locust in their short but angry lives is immense. The ghost bat composition. This is actually, there's no way. No, I feel like that can kill infinity Zerglings. I don't think there's an amount of Zerg. Well, not that ByuN can see it. What he can't see, he can't know. He literally hides the battle from him, so he doesn't know whether it's going well. Just this one, I think a lot of pro players actually unbind mouse zoom, but that's when you gotta zoom in under the Overseers. This is a weird fight. And by that I mean ByuN just killed yeah, there were like 3 lurkers, 4 hot. Well, the battle has continued for 3 minutes, so this is not a very helpful screen. But the ghosts? Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm getting whiplash. The ghosts will be slaughtered by the dozen. He's lost 20 ghosts so far. In this battle, 13 have died. Only 1 swarm host so far. 11 corruptors on the way, and Rogue is making his spire great again. Broodlords, the ultimate discount composition. The Dollar General Zerg. Why make few unit when many unit do trick? The unlimited free units composition. The type of unit composition that I had to upgrade my PC to watch at 60 FPS on these graphic settings. Quite literally. So hopefully you're appreciating it and YouTube's compression is not ruining it like it does on half the videos. Well, the siege line is drawn. The Changeling's taking a close look at it. The scan's also doing so. 11 orbital commands now. Easily enough to continue scanning indefinitely. The Hellbats, there's actually no detection, but here comes the detection. 47 Overseers. Corruptors knocking things out. The parasitic bombs helping out. And Rogue just drowns him in Zerg. ByuN has reached the point of no return. He's just decided it's no longer worth it to kill Changelings. I think a Liberator... Wait, why are drones still dying? Where are they dying? 21 drones died. I'm pretty sure some of them at this base, over to the 9 o'clock. I think it was a Liberator that eventually died to a Corruptor. There's a command center angrily staring down the hatchery in the bottom left, or top left corner. Another wave of Changelings and Locusts kind of tripping over one another. The DPS of the swarm host was significantly reduced by the wave of Changelings that Rogue sent in. One hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing, while the other hand continues to swing around the map. And the other hand is doing something I won't mention here, for fear of getting demonetized. 11 more. Wow, Rogue is down to 19 drones, which is maybe concerningly low. And his bank is really... So we know how much money is in the bank right now. Neither player does. And in this sort of game, it's almost impossible to tell. ByuN has been slightly more cost-effective, but he's lost 1,500 more gas. Though his army... I'm pretty convinced Overseers count as part of the army. Because at 10,000, there's no way that ground army is 10,000 minerals, right? Right. Yeah, the Overseers are included. 47. I don't know how many changelings per minute that is. I believe it's approximately 1 metric fuck ton. The Corruptors, the Overseers. Banelings hit something. The planetary does die. The orbitals will try to fly away, which seems very optimistic considering the circumstances. And Rogue. Now the changelings are body blocking the Thors. The planetary fortress try to take bites out of them. By the way, Thors are here. Which is... Thor Hellbat is... Oh, he's corralled. Nope, sir. Sir, you need to come with us. Sir. Alright. He's got his very special escort. Oh, so special. The planetary. One planetary dies, another one. Well. Thing is, ByuN actually has an incredible army. 18 Ghosts, 3 Thors, 8 Siege Tanks, 7 fully upgraded Hellbats. The Changelings see that army as well. He's scanning forward. He's trying to get Rogue to actually fight him heads on. Head on. Heads on. Like a Hydra. But without any Hydras, because Hydras kind of suck. No, the snipes! And the swarm host! The snipe's incredible! But here comes the detection, of course. The committee has come back around. He's got a Congress of Corruptors overhead alongside it. And the Thor is held in by changelings and swarmed by the hosts. 15 more swarm hosts on the way. The thing is, Rogue is running out of money. ByuN is already broke. Oh no, just like that we've reached the bean counter phase. 44,000 resources lost by either side. There's not that many left to go. ByuN mining with how much gas? 2,000 gas. There's still, the bases, the bottom right and the top left corner are pretty fresh in the grand scheme of things, all right? Rogue clearly has the army that can move around the map more easily, but ByuN still has, he has 27 ghosts. 27! My God, that's an entire History Channel series of ghosts. That's almost as many times as Blizzard has canceled the game named after them. Is that all I have? For now. But, who you gonna call, Rogue? Ghostbuster! Well, one. I don't know if Banelings are actually the play here. Ghosts, not light units. Much like your mother, they actually are not vulnerable to Banelings. They don't have that much HP, so quantity has a quality all its own. But the Thors getting caught by the swarm hosts. Anything overhead knocked out by the Corruptors. But Rogue had 34 swarm hosts and 23 Corruptors as his army. And 63 changelings, but that's not really so much army as propaganda. The drone strike! How many drones does it take to get to the center of a siege tank? The answer is probably more than 12. That's how many have died in the last minute. One, why was the siege tank there? Two, why did the drones stop? Well, the Zerglings will avenge them. Rogue is actually broke. He just hit 0 minerals on the dot. He held down the Baneling key to hit 0, which is a real commitment. ByuN is right there with him. He cloaks only the front line of Ghosts, which is actually A really smart move. Do like the SCV working on the refinery. What am I watching? The Changelings escorting the Thors. God. VIP service from Rogue here. Oh my god, there are literally too many. They're in such an awkward spot. Be careful with that! You gotta be real careful, the siege tank. Oh, yep. Okay, well, he cloaks the ghosts. And he picks up the Thors. Yeah, pick up all the Thors, cloak the ghosts, and pray. That third part is very important. This is a surprisingly strong counter to everything that's happening right now. I guess he could bring the Overseers in, but he would lose so many of them. How many Overseers has he lost this game? 7. So I guess it's not really a huge concern. 28 ghosts. And an entire brouhaha of swarm hosts here. This is not his band of swarm host brethren. This is an entire cult here. Willing to die for the cause. And they do, for 20 seconds out of every minute. We're now playing a tower defense game. "34 swarm hosts, 23 corruptors, and Rogue is maxed." He's got a few wings and banes in there. 29 banelings. I would be remiss if I did not mention. I'm gonna get so... Okay, I have to mention at this time, though. I don't even want to, because I'm gonna jinx it, but... In order to win a game of StarCraft 2, you must destroy all your opponent's buildings. That is technically the requirement. As the Locust rain down, he actually repairs the tank through it. Did anything die? A Thor. I don't know if that was this wave or the one before it, but... And ByuN has been known to offer draws. I think back to Raynor versus ByuN, not too long ago, where ByuN offered a draw and Raynor did not take it, and then lost a fight and tried to re-offer it again, which was to be fair, a bit of a bitch move. Yeah. It's on the table right now. Another wave of Locusts. 9 siege tanks. And Rogue seems to be committing to the fight. The Locusts raining down on the Thors, ripping them apart. They might not last much longer, but they last long enough. That's what they always say about me. So, 56 Zerglings on the way. As Rogue is down to 500 minerals. The Changeling. Sir. We need you to calm down, sir. Thor looks like it actually is. Sir. No, this is where you live now. Nobody puts the Thor in the corner besides a bunch of the weakest units in the game. They can't even attack, but emotionally devastating. 20 banelings on the way. The ghosts will cloak and form an invisible wall to stop the Locusts. We're really stretching the edges of StarCraft 2 mechanics here. Oh no. He moved the Changelings away and replaced them with Zerglings and ripped them apart by the ankles. But this army is still... The Locusts... Okay. One Infestor could win the game right now. But there are no Infestors. He may need them. Oh no! Oh, the Locusts were already triggered on a single Hellbat. And that means they're on the ground. They move fast on the creep. Here come the Overseers! And the Ghosts will die! Wow, it's a disaster! The Queen's getting in on the action. Get off my Queen! Enough Ghosts survived to unleash a wave of snipes. And wait a second. ByuN, the initial wave of the Locust was enough to rip most of the Ghosts apart. But not all of them. Not all of them. And what's left? 13 Hellbats, 14 Ghosts, siege tanks who are being escorted off of the map by Changelings. But there's still 33 Swarm Hosts. He's only killed 6 Swarm Hosts throughout this game. All right, now the heart of the Swarm Host is strong. And ByuN, is he fall? The minerals. The minerals, Marie. They're gone. Well, actually, no. There's still like 2,000 minerals over here and another 2,000 in the corner. ByuN has mined out of all the... Thanks to the power of mules, he has mined out all the minerals on his side of the map. Every base he was able to take, he just dragged every single last bit. His last unit will be a Hellbat. Unless he's able to drop mules and long distance mine from across the map. Everything ByuN has now is irreplaceable. Another orbital command. He still has 8 of them. Plenty in the main. Both of them invested so much in things that were not direct to army. There's still 43 overseers. I mean, it feels like this has been Rogue's game to lose for not half an hour, but over 10 minutes. Thing is, one misfired wave of Swarm Hosts, lollygagging too long in range of the Ghosts, and half the Swarm Hosts are gone. So, the ByuN still has a chance. But it's becoming vanishingly small, considering he can't even repair anymore. He literally, not figuratively, literally has 0 minerals and 0 gas. Though the mules are trying to bring some home. How far must you go? He's clearing creep with one of his precious Hellbats. As the Locust, the Changelings continue to keep everything at bay. And, something's happening down there. The Corruptors. Oh, whoa, you gotta be careful. Well, Rogue still has minerals, is the thing. But if we do get to the point where there are no more minerals for Rogue either, and he loses every Corruptor, this is a draw. He cannot kill floating buildings without flying units. So, Rogue is still several thousand minerals off that location. He's got 700. ByuN killed these bases so many times. Rogue still has like 5,000 minerals. So this isn't actually as close as it seems. I mean, ByuN is now looking to long distance mine. Not that long distance, but the Corruptors have something to say about it, and it's... Jimmy, edit that out. A wave of scans hits the map. The barracks are in flight. And ByuN, well... Rogue also has 70 mineral. Another legion of changelings. The Change Legion. While these players may have been have gone through many phases of StarCraft 2, it appears we've returned to Heart of the Swarm Host. Definitely a different flavor, a different style than we had in the Endless Sieges. But the feeling of inevitability is much the same. The barracks are floating overhead. Not sure what he's meaning to accomplish with that. Maybe try to get some snipes. If only Rogue had detection. The ghosts. He's still Rogue is still mining. If they were both mined out at this point, ByuN could play for a draw, but he can scan the minerals. It's not that. He knows where they are. He knows that Rogue is not mined out yet. What a unbelievable game. My eyes are glazing over with this many 74 changelings. It just... his fan club over here. It's actively pushing the units out of the way, making everything more difficult, making it impossible. He's just smothering him. Just like I like to be smothered in likes and subscribes. Brenda! Just taking out of barracks the ghosts. Baneling's rolling in. Think he realizes. And just like that, 42 minutes later, Rogue claims what we're going to begrudgingly call victory. 66 ghosts, 69 Hellbats, 681 Zerglings. And 42 minutes of my life I'm not getting back. All right, Rogue with a nice quick victory in game number 1. Well, so yeah, that's how you beat Turtle Terran. There you go. Just do that. Simply smother them with waves of changelings. He stopped building Nydus after a while. After it was clear that ByuN was retreating into his shell, he stopped building Nydus because Nydus cost money. And he relied almost entirely on the freemium units from that point on. ByuN still, like... I need to make it clear, because when Rogue does it, it seems inevitable. But he has one bad swarm host wave, one lapse in pressure away from ByuN just crushing through with a critical mass. ByuN's army is much more likely to win in, like, a unit tester scenario. It's only Rogue maneuvering around the entire map like a greased up mannequin. You're like, I can finally get a hold of it. No, that mannequin has teleportation. Why is it a mannequin? Because it felt too weird for him to be grabbing a person. Or why not? You know, I digress. Moving on. Either way, if Rogue had to fight, he loses. So, as Sun Tzu once said, when you know you are at a disadvantage, play like a little bitch until you have the advantage. Or, I'm paraphrasing. Am I paraphrasing for the Terran or the Zerg? I'll let the comments be the judge. Reaper gets in. Forces 2 Spore Crawlers. Rogue actually just sends the link straight across. Which, if he can delay the command center... No, ByuN actually built 2 Marines. Sir, this is a message from the Hatchery Owners Association. All right, my name is Brenda. That's Susan. And kindly, after that last game, we know each other now. It's been over 40 minutes. So get to the point, Brenda. We have time. You don't know that. All right, how much time do any of us have? It could end at any moment. What are you talking about? Existential dread, Susan. That's what I was getting to. That's a Reaper, okay? It's a metaphor for our fragile existence. Shit. Sorry, I am blacked out for a moment. Roach Warren is on the way for Rogue. What? Interesting. Doesn't seem to be interested in as drawn out of a game. Though he does have 40 drones. It's a little early to be a safety Warren, but it's an extra safe Warren. All right? Can never be too. You can definitely be too careful. Make no mistake. There is such a thing as being too, especially for Zerg, where you kill your drones in order to become buildings. There's very much a thing as being too. ByuN, why are you here? ByuN, on the other hand, has never heard that word in his life. Brenda bounce, pops over the top, going for the Overlord. Nope. All right, well. Overlord taken down by the 2 intrepid Marines, and now the Queen shuts down the fire demons. And only 3 drones will pay the infernal price. That was close, though. Another Overlord will phase through the skyscraper a little bit. Did manage to survive for now, but the Reaper, I think Reaper needs to provide high ground. No? Either way. Overlord goes down. 1-1 is on the way. Carapace upgrade. Looks like Rogue wants to hedge his bets. Armory. Armory? No. Don't do it, ByuN. It's a Hellbat push. But why? You only have 3 Hellions. It's like, yeah, 3 sick... I mean, I guess that could be for 2, too. But, no. 3 Hellbats, that's even more sad. Because he, like... You really gonna do a 3 Hellbat push? Because it's way too early to pretend like that's for 2 upgrades. So, ByuN it knows the timing's better than that. Well, we'll see. Rogue has 15 roaches right now, which is altogether too many roaches for ByuN to have a chance to deal with directly. In fact, it looks like Rogue is angling for just a big roach timing. That seems well suited to deal with exactly this. All right, picks up, heads directly towards the main. And the Queens are already there to intercept. Roaches and Langs. He's getting +1 mech weapon. 1 Queen gets taken down. There's not that many roaches here. Loses a chunk of it. Hellions try to come in. Roaches shut it down. And Rogue now has a 50 supply lead. The Marines. Drones pulled up the line. There's a lot of... How many siege tanks? 1 siege tank. The Changeling on the depot holds it in place. 1 Changeling to hold him down. The Marines are going the wrong way. And Rogue just smashes through the front. Rips apart the Marines. And in the exact opposite way he won game number 1. Will decisively execute ByuN in game 2 and take the series with a decisive 2-0. to 0. Oh, ByuN. With a half-assed medevac attempt. Clearly, the spirit, somewhat puns intended, taken out of him. With the swarm host strategy of Game 1. But quite a demonstration across the board. And I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I hope it made your day a little bit better. And if you got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon, YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. Thank you to our Mule tier patrons, Big Jake, Devendor, Mario, Random Guy Suit, for bringing in the extra minerals. Glad you still enjoy it. And thank you, everyone, for watching. I'll see you next time. Make sure autoplay is on the right video. It's not on some, like, Japanese Minecraft VTuber. I swear I don't click on them. I don't know why it ends up on that. I'm just saying. All right, do not judge. I don't know what... Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.